Browsing YouTube as I often do for looking at Lorne stuff, and thought that we've got the outside footage, the uncut footage from the Sting that nobody's ever really gone over. Now, there's obviously not a huge amount of material, but we've got some stuff here that wasn't heard. And let's be honest, right, what is more satisfying than watching child predator stroke scammer stroke general arsehole Lorne Armstrong getting busted? You know, it's like there is justice in the world. And it's no secret the guy's pissing me off lately. I've had a few messages of support, which I appreciate, everyone. I don't get a chance to reply to everybody's messages, but I appreciate them. I read everything. But yeah, a few people have sort of noticed that, you know, maybe getting a little bit, taking it too personally. I'm not taking it personally, but obviously the fact that this guy has a YouTube presence is distasteful, to say the least. But someone kind of made a comment which I thought was very succinct. That's a good word, isn't it? Which said, we created this monster, and, you know, some truth in that. But here we are, right? This is just before Lorne steps out of the door, so he's just basically been humiliated for 15 minutes in front of Chris Hansen. Is Mr. Penis thinking about Miss Vagina? You know, that's what you call humiliation. Now, I wonder if Lorne, when he kind of was walking out the house after he'd, you know, started crying and good God, I wonder if he thought that that was kind of it, that, you know, that was going to go home and just wait to be humiliated on TV. Because that often sort of makes me wonder, really, is most of the predators, I think, once the cameras come out, I think they think that's, you know, it's pretty bad, but that's it. I'm not too sure how many think they're also going to get busted outside. Unless they've seen the show before, of course. But anyway, let's watch this. This is karma in action. You know what I mean? This is the accumulation of all the bad choices that Lorne has made in his life, and that's basically what karma means.
Just off down! Just down! On the ground!
Let's do fucking cry, you fucking asshole. Look at the top right here, right? There's some cracking stuff here. It's like there's just no resistance whatsoever, is there? It's like he's just like as a corpse that they're gonna fucking maul around with in a weird way. Move your leg, officer. There we go. Look at him move his head from side to side. And then his ass fell off. His fucking hats fell off. Well, you know, he hates not wearing his hat, doesn't he? Did you see that? Look at his head move from side to side. His fucking ass fell off. You can just like, without actually being able to see his face, it's like you can sort of feel in a way how he must be feeling. just think, right, you know, he's got his truck out there which he bought from scamming an old couple. He's just tried molesting a 13-year-old girl. There was other people he scammed. You know, he'd said and did the most disgusting things, and Luke is on the floor, face down. His cap that he uses to cover up his baldness has just fell on the floor. He's just been humiliated in front of Chris Hansen. He knows he's going to be exposed to the national... Even as I'm starting to say this now, part of me's feeling sorry for him. It's like, does any human being deserve to go through that? But this is Lorne Armstrong we're talking about. I just want to get that shot. There's like as he turns his head towards the camera. Oh, look at that! Like, you fucker. So they've just stuck him in the recovery position. He's getting handcuffed to the back. He's got 3 officers stood in front of him. It's like, it doesn't get much worse than that. He's been basically crucified. Busted. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cops there. Look at he's got his head down. Oh my God, it's like you've just, all of your dignity as a human being has just gone. And as I'm kind of saying this, it makes me feel sad that not every child predator gets what they deserve. Some people. But I'm a great believer that eventually you will get justice, whether it be, I don't want to get too fucking deep into my spiritualness here, like, but what I'm trying to say is, whether it be in this life or whatever, you will at some point have to not necessarily pay, but you'll have to deal with the consequences of the life that you've led. Sometimes it happens through death, sometimes it happens through the natural order of the way it works, the natural laws on the planet, like it's happening here. Sometimes you just you live a life. People might think that someone, everybody knows someone that you don't like. And sometimes your perception of them is that that person may be happy or leading a good life, even though that they're a bad person. But just on the outside, because they may appear to, it's not true. You know, how many times do you think people put fake smiles on? Because, we have a tendency to just see the surface of things without, we make snap judgments and, so generally people that, it's like, I remember Sam Pendleton put it brilliantly once. He was talking about various members of the church who we believed have, done morally incorrect things, and he said, well, those people have to live with themselves in the way they are every day, and to have so much sort of anger, not necessarily anger, because I have anger, as you might tell but listening to some of my videos and talking about Lorne sometimes, but if you're living in a way where you set out to try and hurt people, or you're just generally an unpleasant guy who's got no compassion and empathy, the life that you lead will ultimately be very shallow and not enjoyable, and you won't get the true benefits of life, really. It's like, I generally prefer to live a moderately simple life. well, I don't know. I suppose it depends how you look at it, but, you know, I enjoy the simple things like nature and spending time with good people. It's like, I have, quite a lot of friends, but not as many as some people I know. But all of my friends are really good people. I will not waste my time. It's like, might be a failing of me. If there's a group of people and there's 2 people within that group that are going out that I cannot stand, that I know are not decent people, I will not go out, you know, I won't waste my time engaging with those people. I won't. It's not being rude, and it's not making judgments that that person's a bad person or anything like that inherently, but I will not waste any of my time on this planet engaging with people that I think are arseholes. Not, well, that I think, and it sounds like I'm making judgments there, but sometimes you've got to. I'm going off track a little here. It's Sunday morning anyway. I've not been up long. What the fuck has that got to do with anything? Anyway. I mean, what can you say about that? Look at him. He's just, like I said, all of his dignity's been taken away. His caps fell off. He's been humiliated. He knows he's lost his freedom. He knows that his life as he knows it at that point is over. That's where the tears come from, partly. You know, it just think. But it's like, I don't, even as I'm watching this now, there's a degree of sympathy I've got for Lorne. I don't wish suffering on anyone, but just think, this is a guy who thought he was talking to a real girl who tried. Did he try? I mean, he tried to take away her dignity, really, didn't he? Let's just say Kayla was real, right? And she did the things that Lorne asked her to do. Lorne would have destroyed that girl's innocence to a massive degree. It's kind of just affected that girl in a negative way for the rest of her life. It's kind of, you know, if you think about it like that, it's really fucking bad. I mean, here I am with Lorne bipolar again, you know. The only thing that I think kept Lorne going in, it's like I've said before, the other thing I think that kept Lorne going in jail was his lawsuits. If you look at the depth of the delusions that he was going through at the time, and what his train of thought must have been, I think it was the only way that he could have possibly survived it. If Lorne, when he got to jail, or even at this point, had really seen the reality of the situation, I don't think he would have survived. I think it would drive someone to suicide. 2 things can happen in that situation. When you fully realise the grasp of if you're living in a delusion world like Lorne's done for all this time, believing in these bizarre delusions of grandeur, thinking that there's a chance that he might actually get signed up to a country music label. He actually believed it, and he tried to achieve it in the easiest possible way of singing in karaoke bars. So, in the back of Lorne's mind, to protect him from the harsh coldness of reality, was this possibility that he may make it as a famous country singer someday. There was also this other fantasy that kept him going, of him marrying a 13-year-old. So when he was like 40, 41, there was going to be an 18-year-old daughter of 2 doctors that was going to marry him and have children with him. So on all fronts, he sort of protected himself by living in even deeper delusions. Now, those delusions have just been destroyed. He doesn't fully get at the moment the full gravity of the sting operation. Even when he was in the interview, he didn't quite get it. And he still didn't quite get it when he was in jail writing his lawsuits. And to be honest, he doesn't fully understand exactly what happened now. Because Lorne's reality is always distorted with bullshit. He cannot see things. There's so many things going on in that brain of his, making these judgments about this and that person's against me, and this person's against me, and I never meant to do it, and all this bullshit. He can't see reality as it is. He just can't. And generally, human beings can't, but Lorne's so much more worse. So, when he's faced with this situation that he is now, or someone like Lorne, when basically the structures that you've created to protect yourself all break down, there would have been, let's just say he'd had a full realisation at this moment, and that's why this has happened. It's not, everything happens to people, not everything, but in my experience, most things happen to people to help them. If bad things happen to someone, it's because there's a lesson concealed deep within it. With this, for Lorne, it was like, it's the universe telling him, fucking snap out of it, you fucking idiot. Get a grip, stop fucking living in this fantasy world, get yourself sorted out. But no, he did the opposite. He went even crazier, even deeper into delusion, thinking that women with female powers and were tricking him into turning up to the house. I mean, what? So, if there would have been a full realisation and all the mind structures would have broken down, two things could have happened. One of them would have been total despair and potentially suicide, mental breakdown, and potentially going insane. The other is spiritual enlightenment, the total realisation of who you are at your deepest level. And that happens to a lot of people in these situations. People on death row, there's books, I've read shitloads of books about people that are in prison, or just before they think they're going to be given the injection, or whatever, electrocuted. Some people who are faced with death, or some people in really bad situations that you never thought it was possible. Lorne had that opportunity, but he decided, through his own free will, to carry on with this delusion world. And it even happened a couple of hours after here, even an hour when he was in, I never even meant to do it. He convinced himself he never even meant to do it. Of course he fucking meant to do it. Anyway. You can oh, look, top left.
This all coming up.
He can't put his head up. Oh, right, yeah, so there. Lorne knows the cameras are on him because the light's shining, innit? Because you can see the light. Obviously it's black and white, but you can see the shadows that the light. He knows the camera's there. Because on the uncut footage, when he's like walking away, he puts his head down, doesn't he, when he's walking to the car? I'd pay $1,000 to get that footage from inside the car. They're not even moving him. Oh God. Can you imagine being one of them cops there doing that? So like he's stood there with his head down, lights being shined on him, there's a camera there, he's being manhandled by two people. It's just all of his dignity has disappeared. His caps fell on the floor and it's in the doorway. He's just not doing anything at all. It's like, I wonder what's going through. I wonder what thoughts are going through his head at that point. I would say he's being overrun with fear. But does anybody think that from the time he left that doorway to the time he gets in the truck, or even beyond, how much he thought about Kayla and his lost love. So. He's head to one side. That must be when you see him put his head up there and he turns his head. That must be the bit from the Dateline, from the actual, you know, from the show. It's like he stood there waiting for a bus. The officers are going, oh, happy birthday, Mr. Armstrong.
Yeah, we'll hopefully win it anyway. Let's get it real fast.
Right. Anyway, thought it would be worth exploring that. Got a few things off my chest. So thank you for indulging me, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you later.